SLA Video Productions presents live and on tape from the beautiful Westlake Community Services Center in Westlake, Ohio. It's Westlake Live!
I don't have to cook anymore.
Are you looking to downsize and need help navigating the process? Call me. I would love to tell you about the Normandy and why people call this home.
Come home to the Normandy.
And now, bonus footage from Westlake Live featuring Marie Elium, where she answers questions from the audience.
Okay, so who would like to ask Marie a question?
As long as it's not too hard.
Okay, Mary Ann.
Many issues initially, and has it grown? How much has it grown? And the amount of publications you put out every.
We print 35,000 copies of it.
Wow.
And so it's, like I said, distributed at over 700 locations in a 7-county region. And then the pass along, I believe the statistic is we think about 4 people get the pass it along. So we'll find out a little more on some of those statistics as to who exactly is reading the magazine based on our survey that is getting compiled right now. So
Did you initially start out with
it was initially that number, and so here I am. So I don't do anything with business. I mean, I know ads are important, and so I'm grateful for them, but I don't know all of the nuts and bolts. So I'm like, well, let's just, since it's hard to get them, let's just make more. And so the publisher's like, well, there's reasons for that. That's the number that he's sticking with. And the fact that it's available online makes it more accessible. And I think as people, get more accustomed, especially in our age group, there's some hesitancy to think, oh, I could read it online. But really, that's the easiest way to get content and to see it, and it's always accessible. And the best part, you can make the printer big. This is me, make the print big. You can look at it easier at I don't know. I mean, I like having a hard copy. Don't get me wrong. I like that, but online's also not a bad option. And then we also put out a weekly electronic newsletter with 5 items in it. And so that's something you can subscribe to and get it to your inbox. You can get it emailed to you, and that kind of keeps you up on things too. Stuff that happens in between the issue coming out. NortheastOhioBoomer.com is the website. And if you type that in, and then you'll see all the options. We have directories, and we're compiling a more extensive directory, but it's got all the past issues, and you could subscribe to the newsletter.
Did I hear you say that you do accept unsolicited pieces?
Well, ideas, and if you're a good writer, I mean, sure, I absolutely will look at everything. I will look at, absolutely. As long as it's local, from somebody local, I get lots of good ideas that way.
I have 2 questions. How did you come up with the name Boomer for the magazine?
It was named when Brad brought me in.
The question was, I believe at the end of the magazine, you have little puzzles.
Brain games.
Right.
Who developed that?
That's Kathleen Kilpatrick.
Interesting.
Aren't they good? They are fun, aren't they? Yeah, she does a really good job with those.
Somebody asked about pickleball because it was in Parade magazine.
So I did a cover story on pickleball. Actually, that was something the publisher, he started playing it in Aurora or in Twinsburg. They've got outdoor pickleball courts. He said, we should do a story on that. And honestly, I was like, I don't know. I mean, who's doing pickleball? I really didn't think a whole lot of it, but I'm like, all right, let's give it a shot. And it turns out that everybody's playing pickleball except for me, apparently.
Yeah.
And once I saw it played and did it a little bit, I'm not athletic at all, at all. But I thought, well, this is a sport I like because I can talk during it, which is a big deal because I love to talk. And so it's a very social sport. and you're still moving, and you can play it indoors, but I'm a big outdoor person, so I found that appealing. And then it's everywhere. So then I think the Atlantic magazine, like the day our magazine came out, there was this big story drop there, and then
Parade magazine.
My husband goes, hey, your story's in, or the story of your story is in Parade. I go, what? Everybody, I should have written this, 2 months or a year ago at least. But yeah, so pickleball is really interesting, and if you haven't played it, it's something to try. I'm very sensitive to that, to moving, because I had to, long story, I fell out of my chicken coop and had to have shoulder surgery, and then I had a double knee replaced. So I'm like, is this something I could do? But I actually could do this, and it's a real sport. It's competitive, and people enjoy it a lot. So, yeah.
Okay, Marie. So it's out of the cage now. You fell out of your chicken coop.
I did. I know. Isn't that traumatic?
There's actually a personality behind this person who is writing and editor. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, I love talking about myself. So yes, absolutely. I live in Garrettsville in northern Portage County, and right in the village. And I share a flock of chickens with my back door neighbor. We have 14 chickens. We built the coop ourselves with recycled, repurposed items. And then I also am a flower gardener. I also raise flowers. I have a lot. I dabble in a lot. This morning I was grouting stained glass, so I was just like cleaning my fingernails as I'm sitting up, because I wanted to clean it up a little bit before I left this morning, so I got a little dirty. But yeah.
Okay, but what about Elvira?
Oh yes, I have a chicken named Elvira. She's a Polish hen. So she's got, if you're familiar with chickens, Polish hens have like this wild
Rod
feather
Stewart.
Thing going on.
I think
Yes.
Rod Stewart meets Las Vegas showgirl.
Yeah, we have, I think, 8 varieties of chickens, and they really don't lay very many eggs. I mean, they're just pets. They're a lot of fun. It's a good hobby. If you're thinking about getting chickens, go ahead and do it. Don't wait. They're fun.
I don't think they would allow him in my senior complex.
Well,
Although it's so weird already, why not?
Yeah, why not? Who would notice a chicken, right?
So I'm going to put in a little plug and just wonder if you have any thoughts and if anybody here might be interested. Does anybody have stories from past high school reunions?
Yeah, I'm going to mine tomorrow night, and
what year, Maddie?
well, I actually I don't mind telling. It's actually my 50+1, because last year it would have been my 50th. I graduated in 71, but because of COVID, they didn't have it. I almost didn't go, but the gentleman who is organizing it sent a really good article out to people who hadn't signed up yet, and it was about how when you go to your 10th, you are trying to size up everybody.
Right.
When you go to your 20th, they said by the time you go to your 50th, you're happy to be alive. You don't care what anybody, seriously, because a very dear friend of mine passed away 2 years ago. You always hear about these people that were boyfriend, girlfriend in 7th grade or something, and then they met 30 years later at the reunion, ended up getting married. I mean, you hear about that all the time.
I went to my 40th a couple of years ago, which it was a kinder, gentler reunion. Okay, really, nobody was It was very pleasant. And my takeaway was the men all looked like they had just gotten up that morning and were like, I gotta go somewhere today. Where am I going today? and then the women looked like really super pulled together. Just kind of a different vibe, a little bit.
I don't know. I went to my 25th and said, who are all these old people? So I don't know. We were talking about high school reunions, but one thing I noticed on TV, there's a new show, and I know Cheryl's involved with a group that's trying to bridge the generations and have more intergenerational interaction, which I think is good because I'm around seniors all the time, and I sometimes long to be around a different demographic occasionally. And there's this TV show on now. It's a game show called Generation Gap. Have you seen it?
I saw that.
And it's kind of funny how what we would have known versus what they know now. I mean, and it's kind of sad that, when we were kids and, don't trust anyone over 30. But now I think, I don't know how we're perceived by younger people.
Oh, I do.
Well, in fact, one of the things that in her most recent letter from the editor, Their closing line was, because it talked about friendships and again, keeping friends for a long period, but then it was something to the effect that younger people tell us, oh, older people need to have goals too. And it's like you don't stop, hopefully, growing and doing and learning and expanding your horizons. I mean, I have a friend where I live who's 78 years old and she's a pilot. Unfortunately, she doesn't have the money to keep going with it right now, but that's all she talks about. She wants to fly. And why not? But I think generation gaps, when they look at us, they don't know that we were rocking out to Three Dog Night, or, or that when we were, and for me, when I was in 5th grade, there was a knock on my door in the classroom, and the teacher went into the hall, and there was a window you can see, and she had this undescribable look on her face. Well, she came in and told us that President Kennedy was shot. We lived through all this stuff, and give us a little bit of credit for what we've experienced in our lifetimes, Vietnam and all the social changes. So I think it's nice to be around younger people for our perspective to keep us current, but I think they may not appreciate what we've contributed to, or what we at least lived through.
And part of the burden's on us too. I have kids who are 30 and 32, and we do it to ourselves by saying, I can't figure out the technology, or I don't go online, or I don't ever check my email. And it's like, you know what? Guess what? Everybody else is. And if you want to marginalize yourself or feel marginalized, you're doing that to yourselves. We all are. And so by not figuring it out, and my son said he runs into that with some older workers. They go, I can't figure out Excel spreadsheets. And he goes, you know what? Go online and watch a YouTube video until you can learn it. Because otherwise you're doing this to yourself. You're making yourself be old in a workplace if you are not keeping up, or in society if you're not keeping up with things like
Paul?
that.
That's your point of view. At my age, if I learn it today and don't use it every day, by next week I don't remember how to.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true. That's true with a lot of things.
I had that experience yesterday. At the Lakewood Library, somebody was helping me upload something into the computer.
That's right.
A bird's eye view of what you have planned in the future.
Yes. I have a football story in the September-October issue. I think our food writer's writing about tailgating. We have a feature story on traveling, people who retired and are traveling by RV for most of the year locally. And we have a community focus, which is where the Cuyahoga Falls story was, on Aurora this time. So that'll include a story on the history of Geauga Lake will be part of that. And then we'll also hit some of the recreation opportunities in Aurora, and Aurora has a big variety of housing options for people of all ages. So that's going to be also part of that.
Is Aurora Farms still around, or they
It is. It's still there, and it's an outlet store. Remember when it used to be a flea market back in the day? I mean, that's when we moved here 32 years ago, back to Ohio, and it was, we used to go there and get
I used to live in Chagrin Falls, and I would go there maybe twice a year when they had all those outlets, but it seemed like many of them were just...
No, they still have a bunch of outlet stores
they
there.
do?
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Do.
Hi, I don't know if you've ever heard of this before. My mother loved to go out and meet people and do things, and somewhere she got a button, maybe at a senior center, I don't know, and on that button it said, "Hi, I don't remember your name either."
That's great. I love that. Thank you for joining us for Westlake Live by SLA Video Productions. Please, again, thank our sponsor, Senior Living, in Rocky River. And please watch our website, because hopefully you'll be interested in some of the other videos that we've done in the past. Thank you.
Welcome to the Normandy.
From gardening to golfing and socializing with friends, Breakwater offers everything to keep you active and independent.
Come home to the Normandy.
And we want to hear from you. Contact us online or through social media with ideas and suggestions for future content. Also, you can help us enlighten and inspire others by sponsoring one of our video podcasts or any of our content.